and welcome to British Cartographic Society Teatime Talk. My name is Chris Rebutis, BCS Vice President and today's Chair. Today we have Catherine Njore, where she'll be giving us the talk, the use of cartography in promoting environmental education and education on sustainable development. So to tell us a bit more, I'll pass us over to Catherine.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Catherine Njore, as introduced. I have been a cartographer for the last, now this is the 19th year. And just to go a bit back on how I got into cartography, it's not a word I had when I was in primary school or in high school. I never had the word cartography. And then when I was applying to get into college, the college had 4 courses. So there was land surveying, photogrammetry and remote sensing, map reproduction, photolithography, and cartography. And at least the first 3, I had an idea of what they were. And cartography was very, very weird. I had never heard that word before. And so I asked my older brother, what is cartography? Because he had already been to the university. And luckily for me, at least, there were some people studying GIS, and some in tourism. So he was familiar with the word. And he told me it's drawing maps. It's about drawing maps. And I was wondering, how do you go through 3 whole years learning how to draw a map, And out of that curiosity, I got into cartography. And as immediately I started studying it, it was very interesting and I really loved it to date. So as time went by, I worked in different organizations. And then at some point, I found myself in learning institutions as an instructor. So firstly at a college and again at a university. And then I realized the same thing I had back then of what is cartography and all these things about map, because we do not interact so much with maps in our earlier years of learning. So there's that gap. And some students have the attitude of, it's a unit, I'll do it and I'll drop it and I'll move on. And knowing how important maps are, relating that information to its geographic location, how easy it makes decision making, solving different problems, I felt there was a need to give our young learners more engagement with maps very early. And doing that, what I've come with my team, what we do is we introduce them to basic mapping, nothing complicated. That's where we go first. When we teach drawing grids manually in college and university, we really look for accuracy. The 10 by 10 square grid, the diagonal should be exact. I think it's 14 point, I can't remember, 14.125, I guess, and they should be parallel, all that. And why do I do this? I want them to see this accuracy is the same as when we are doing GIS georeferencing. Because once you don't georeference well, you're going to place a certain feature in the wrong location. So these are some of the introductions we take our learners through. What is a GIS system, GIS science, and how it works. So when I work with the learners, I get simple definitions from them. What is a map? And the common one is a map shows us where we are and where we want to go. That has been common in most schools we have handled. So I think it's because of the Google Maps that we now have on our phones. We usually do not have many maps to carry with us when you're moving around. We are still not using maps that much, but now with smartphones and Google Map, our learners interact with them from their parents. So at least they always know a map shows us where we are or where we want to go. So the drawing of a part or whole of the earth are reduced by scale, that now I bring it up as we start interacting with them. And then we again simply give them different examples of maps. The world map, the topographic maps, which are common and used even in schools. And then now you delve into the thematic maps, the different types of thematic maps. So when we look at the Sustainable Development Goals, every single one of the 17 maps are applicable. I appreciate maps so much because they can be, you can map anything. It's very possible. The picture on the side there on the right, why should we conserve our oceans? I had learners, young learners give views. We had the Ocean Week, and we had learners writing how can we conserve, and they had so many different ideas. Like when you come to the green turtle, how it comes to the beach to lay eggs, and some of those locations, either the people who ride on the beach will come and ride over the nest, and so the turtles, after they hatch, they can't come out, they'll die. So what if we had a map, and the people who look after those animals can use that map to map on it. So we have a nest here, so people should not ride there or do 1, 2, 3 things there. So it was very interesting showing them how a map can even be applied when you're working on saving our animals in the ocean. Land cover maps, we've been lucky when we're going through this because of a project that was done by a university, Deran Kimathi, where they were looking at the land cover change in a part of the Aberdare forest. So as you can see, in 1990, the vegetation is more than in the following years, but at least currently something is happening. There's a lot of growing of trees and regreening our spaces. So when they look at this, and I'm talking of learners mostly in grade 4 downwards who we have worked with for this because it's covered around the syllabus in those classes. So they have appreciated to see where we were, and they're asking questions of how can we get back there where we were, because we can see the effects. Like we are almost having it as hot as it's summer out there, which was not usually the case for us here. Yeah, so we have the maps showing, and this kind, many maps of the same place drawn at different times show the changes in a place and how they affect the place. You can see also the grammar I'm using is very simple because I don't want, again, to introduce something very complex, and I want them to enjoy. So when we come down to their level in how we communicate the map work to them, it's usually interesting. So these are also a whole list of uses that now come from them. Shows us where we are, shows us where we want to go. And now because we showed them that land cover change, shows these other definition for, okay, another use came out, shows changes in a place, helps plan our trip. What means will you use, what kind of a road is there, what will you wear, depending on if you've looked at a weather map and you can see what kind of weather you'll be under. It helps in planning a town, and so much more. Different schools give different answers depending on the level of exposure in either environmental conservation and in all other kinds of applications. So my friend Mashford Mahute from Zimbabwe, he's a GIS expert, and he's been doing these kinds of charts showing us the research ideas, focusing on different spaces. Like in environment, we have deforestation monitoring, coastal flooding, vulnerability, groundwater contamination, air pollution. This all goes to show how much you can do with maps. So we need our learners, we need everyone in the different professions understanding what a map is, and they can read a map and interpret a map. Otherwise, so much data can be presented, and because one cannot interpret it, they cannot be able to use it. So these are more of the research ideas that Mashford put together, and it was really good. It's really good even for interacting with high school learners because they're a bit now at their level. So what I've created is a series of books, and these are the main characters. From the first one there, Kizito, history and conservation, don't water too much for plants. This for the kindergarten level, where we teach them in their language again, mostly with pictures, so that it's fun for them. And just 2 weeks ago, I was reading that book with a school, an international school with the young children, and they really had so much to say about the environment, about keeping it clean, about growing trees, what we get from the trees, and all that. So it's been fun. And the more it's more fun and play and activity involved, they understand more and they don't forget the concepts we take them through. So one of the books that I am here, the compass book, this boy, Juma, he shows us what we cover in school most of the time is just the compass directions, northwest, southeast, and then the northwest, northeast, yeah, the 8. So what happens, we do not get to see even a compass. And my son was curious and he asked me, what is a compass? And I had to look for one, the silver compass, which was a bit simple. And that's what I used to show step by step this young boy here, telling us how you can use a compass and a map. And it's been a good tool. We also have map puzzles, as you can see there. So we can have a puzzle like that, and at the back, maybe a fact about what the puzzle is about, what the mapped area is about. Where most of the work for the map, for understanding the map first comes from, is from this map series. In the first book, I introduce what a map is and the basic elements that are mostly in all maps. And in the other consecutive books, I expound on a few of the elements in an application way, like mapping Maria at Mukulima farm. She's picking fruits, vegetables and fruits from a farm. So we give a clue like, this is the shopping list, this is the list she has for the items she's to pick from the farm. So what should she pick first? And then the clue is whatever is farthest on the farm. So is this on the northwest, and how will she get there as she comes back to the road to go back? So it helps them in interpreting the map and also thinking logically and being able to use it. And they can actually say the mango section is on the north of the cabbages or the tomato section, and it engages them. Mapping Maria plants trees also talks about environmental conservation, growing of trees, and how we have destroyed our environment. And when the two characters meet again, it's the use of the directions. So by the time a young learner has gone through the whole map series, now they have a better understanding of the map, and that's how they're able now to interpret other maps like the land use land cover map. And in some spaces, like when we were doing the ocean one, we had a map for the ocean, dealing with issues around there. So we have seen those who have engaged in this series are better at understanding the map, and it's faster for them to consume the information on a new map. We also get them using GIS when it's possible through workshops. And as you can see in the photos, we've had activities. The bottom right photo, the young learners had a map. We did their classroom map, and from it, I could block some paths. So I'll tell them, go find the treasure. It's on this location, and find your way there because this route is closed. And of course, as you can see, when they could find the treasure, it was handed to them by the teacher. These are 4-year-olds in a school. Bottom left are 11-year-olds in grade 4, same class. Why did I concentrate on them? Because I started when they had just started school, and at this point the map they're holding, the map of the first book, is a real place, although not exaggerated in the drawing, and they were able to figure out that the school in the map is their school and the town in the map is the local town where they work, and that actually validated the whole project. Right now they're in grade 6, 13 and 12-year-old. The same maps in the 4 books, we went ahead and we used locally available materials to create the 3D maps. This again is to engage the youngest learners more, because the more they see the features looking real life, the more they enjoy. And it's been easy to use this 3D to show them how we go about drawing a map. We tell them, if you are to take it, when you draw, it's like you're looking from up and then you're placing a paper, because they don't have the concept of scale at age 3 and 4 and 5. But it's been amazing to see how much they engage, because they will point. They can point on the map because now it's a 3D, like Mukulima Farm, the one you're seeing on bottom right. So they can see the different mango section, the banana section. I hope they do look like bananas. So they're able to see, and I don't know, it's usually amazing how they enjoy interacting with it. So when they move from this 3D and then they move to the 2D, they appreciate more what they have engaged in. Yeah, so the main thing is to have fun with maps. You get to appreciate the maps, to love the maps. So as we get into more serious applications like we have in this table here, they already appreciate and want to engage with map work. So this is from a magazine, Coordinate magazine from Nigeria, and the different professions. So it's clear we all need maps because they're applicable in so many spaces. I had a baker telling me, how can maps help me? And I told him, if you have you have a map showing where you are, and you plot where your customers come from, you can see where should my next bakery be. Why am I not getting clients from this side or that side on your area? And you can start answering questions and having solutions to the same. So the basic use of maps is what I'm really targeting for everyone beyond the Google Maps. There's a magazine by the wildlife clubs of Kenya where they show the different animals, different times of the year. Like specifically this tipi eagle in last year's final magazine, they were showing that it was migrating. It was currently in Tanzania and it was migrating back to Europe. And I did this map for them. My colleague did it, Martin, and I was showing them. This is more fun when Alana is seeing how it's migrating all the way from Tanzania, the many countries it passes as it goes to Asia and Europe. And they were impressed, and they were considering to put more map work to show what they're talking about instead of just pictures and just text, because it can be shown in form of a map. It will uh, make the learner more curious. And they even ask, the ones I showed this map, they were asking me, why didn't it stop in some of the other countries? Why is it going all the way to Asia? Yeah, because no, they can see there's so many countries it's not stopping at, but it's moving to a certain. What's making it go there? Is it the weather? Is it going there to breed or what? And so many questions come about when they can actually see what they're being told. Because sometimes you're only familiar with your small space where you are. And when you're presented with a bigger picture, more questions come out and you're more curious. And that is what you're looking at. Every single kind of activity, can we present it in a map? The answer is yes, we can. And so more and more engagement with map work, which also is preparing the future people who will get into geography profession, into GIS, into survey, into remote sensing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically it. I don't know if I was too fast. Yeah, so I will stop sharing my screen so that we can show the small video.
Hello learners.
Hello, teacher.
Our environment is formed by many resources. Today, we are going to learn about resources found in our environment and how to conserve them. This is Kamau on his way to school. He sees many things on his way. Please tell your teacher the things Kamau sees.
Kamau can see trees and a river.
He can also see a bridge, a house, and grass.
Good work, learners. All these things are called resources. A resource is anything found around us that can be used by living things. Learners, can you identify the following resources?
We can see trees, soil, and water.
We also see domestic and wild animals.
But teacher, there are so many trees that are being cut down.
That is correct, Neema. Sadly, many trees are being cut down. It is therefore important that we take care of our environment. Learners, how are the resources in the pictures below being taken care of? Learners, the resources in the pictures are being taken care of by
building terraces and gabions to prevent soil erosion.
By protecting wild animals from poaching.
By planting trees to increase tree cover.
By conserving water.
Very good, learners. All these are examples of conserving resources. To protect something from being destroyed is to conserve. Learners, how else can we conserve our resources? Additionally, we can avoid overgrazing, avoid poaching, recycle waste, dispose of waste properly. Let us look at an example of the Moringato area to see how the trees and forests have been changing. We shall look at the years 1990, 2000, 2010, and 2020. Learners, here we have a map of Moringato area for the year 1990. It shows the forest cover within the area. What can you say about the forest on the map? In 1990, the area covered by trees and forests was 121 kilometers squared. In the Aberdare forest and the Moringato forest, there were very many trees. We used to get a lot of rainfall, and all the rivers in the Moringato area had so much water. Here is Moringato land use cover map in 3 dimensions. Learners, here we now have a map of Moringato area for the year 2000. It shows the forest cover within the area. What can you say about the forest on the map now? In the year 2000, the number of trees and the forest cover had reduced. It was now 90 kilometers squared. This was about 8 out of 10 of the forest area in 1990. This means that for every 10 trees, 2 had been cut down. The rainfall had reduced. The water in the rivers had also reduced. Here is Moringato land use cover map in 3 dimensions. Learners, here is a map of Moringato for the year 2010. It shows the forest cover within Moringato in the year 2010. What can you say about the forest? In 2010, we can see that there was no significant change from the year 2000. The area covered by trees and forest was 85 kilometers squared. This was about 7 out of 10 of the area in 1990. This means that for every 10 trees, 3 had been cut down. The rainfall continued to reduce. The water in the rivers had also reduced, and some of the rivers had dried up. Here is Moringato land use cover map in 3 dimensions. Learners, finally, here is a map of Moringato area for the year 2020. It shows the forest cover within the area. What can you say about the forest here? In 2020, the upper part of the Aberdare forest had very few trees. Almost all the trees had now been cut down. The area covered by trees and forests was now 80 kilometers squared. This was about 6 out of 10 of the area in 1990. This means that for every 10 trees, 4 had been cut down. The rainfall was now very little. Some of the rivers had also dried up. Here is Moringato land use cover map in 3 dimensions. Looking at the 4 maps, we can see that the forests and trees in the Moringato area have continued to reduce. Soon, we might have no forest at all if we do not conserve our environment. Well, learners, we have come to the end of our lesson. Today, we have learnt about the different resources and how to conserve them. So, learners, will each one of us participate in the conservation of our resources?
Catherine, thank you very much for that. That's been a very interesting talk, and the video as well give a very nice very nice illustration of the uses that you've of the education as well.
Mhm.
So, what we'd like to do now is we'd like to go into the Q&A section. So, if anyone has any questions, if they can put them into the chat, we will work our way around to them. Okay, so yes, I have to say that was very interesting, and thank you for the talk so far, and hopefully have some good questions for you as well from anyone watching. Yes, it's very good. It's good. It was good getting the background of example how you fell into cartography. Really, the fact of just discovering the term of cartography in itself. That's a bit of an alien concept for some people.
Actually, the whole 3 years, every time someone asks you, what are you studying? And you tell them cartography, and they always ask, Carto what? And you think it will change when you start working, and you keep saying, I am a cartographer. And I always introduce myself as a cartographer, and I'm always asked, what is that? But with the grade 9, with the new system you're having, they have not put it as a career path. So I'm excited that you're going to have more of that.
No, thank you for that. And it is an interesting one, and alone just trying to promote the word, which is which is which unfortunately has fallen out of favor with some people. So that is very good to hear. So yes, let's see. Right, so okay, so we've got the first few questions that have come in now. So do the children help make the 3D maps to as part of their art and design, maybe?
Unfortunately, because of how many still don't understand what cartography is, I don't get a lot of support. So I did the whole, we did it in Mombasa with a friend, but we are trying to come up with a way, if a school is willing, they can get the materials and then we can make one and leave it in that school instead of this one that we take with us and we go with it. So we are yet to get there, because mostly it's you're introducing something new and people take time before they get used to it. Yeah. So we have not yet managed to work with the learners to make one.
Yes, but no, it sounds well. It's an interesting idea, and the fact it's just trying to introducing them to it. It's hopefully at some point in the future it may be a bit easier to to make that happen. But I think the important thing is getting that lesson across, which is the key part. So another question we have is, how many children are in the classes?
Most of the time in our public schools, we have a population of 45. So most of the time I've had groups of 30 or 40 or 45. So we will have like two of us work with them. The younger they are, the more. And if you're doing an outdoor activity, we are more volunteers because it's volunteer work.
No, thank you very much. It's yes, relative large classes, so it's a relative large classes and few people to teach it. That's I can see the challenges there. It's okay. Next question. Have you done any educative cartographic work with urban environments, human geography as a focus?
I can't say we have done that much, because remember, we're introducing from scratch. So most of the time you're there telling them what is a map and getting them to understand a basic map. But now what happens, like one school, it's a private school and they're so keen. So we are working on a certain theme. They are in the middle of a very big forest and they take care of it. So we're working on a map for them for that area. So we've not done so much. We are mostly stuck on the introduction. In fact, even on the publications I've done, like the one I presented in Tokyo, even my references were 1986, 1990s papers, because that is where we are introducing maps. So I can't even reference using the current 2020 papers. Yeah, so it's still on the introduction mostly.
Oh well, but yes, it's. I think the small steps are the key. I think the small steps initially are the key ones. So at least you're making, at least there's some progress. That's the key point. I think that people if they're enjoying the maps, that if they're enjoying looking at maps and understanding how to use them and potentially how to start understanding how they're produced. It's a key thing, but I think it's all steps to getting there. Okay, so next question: are you planning to expand to other countries?
I love that question. Of course, I would love these books to even reach all of Africa and any place. There's a school in I don't know if it's Wisconsin in US. They used the books with their grade fours and they sent feedback and it was amazing. Yes, so I would love to expand to everywhere.
No, that's good. That's very good news, and it's nice to see it's nice to see that it's been found much further afield as well. So that's and the fact they've been the fact they've been happy to make use of it shows the quality of the material that you've put together. So that's a good. That's a very good sign, and it's good that they've been giving you feedback as well. So it's no, it'll be good. It would be nice to see it. It would be nice to see this expand as well. But I think it's also that challenge of getting those initial steps done. But I think you're doing a great job so far. Okay. Next question is what GIS software is available for children?
So mostly we use QGIS because it's free. It's free and you're going with your laptop, or when the university hosts us, we are using their GIS lab, but mostly QGIS. But for the children, the young ones, we rarely go to using the QGIS. We just look at the Google Earth and they see different places, like they can even locate their houses because you zoom to their area. But with the older learners, QGIS because it's free. And when a teacher is interested, we help them do the basic operations on QGIS because they can access it anytime, even without us.
Okay, no, thank you very much for that. And it is a very useful tool. But being free is, and I can talk from using it myself. It's quite a powerful tool for what's freely available. Another question we have here is a brilliant presentation. Thank you. Do you have any links with schools overseas, especially in the UK, that would be of benefit? Do you think?
Not yet. I don't have, but I welcome any linkages.
Okay, that's no problem. I think it's all. Yeah, we'll see if we can see if anyone wants to reach out and see if there's any support or any cooperation that they wish to do and yeah, well, most I think we'll ask around and see what we can do on our side as well.
I've actually had two learners in Australia, although they're Kenyan, but we've done some Zooms and they draw. In fact, the boy says he's the boy in my book. It's very interesting and he enjoys, but it's not so easy doing it online only because they're drawing on their end because I tell them, draw the map of your house, the tables, Yeah, it's interesting.
No, that is it's an interesting challenge. But again, it's good to see that. Again, it's good to see that it's that you're getting that reach that people are that it's the fact that people are wanting to engage. That's part of the battle, and I think you're doing quite well, especially if it's not just you going to the especially if you've got that little bit beyond you going to the schools, which is the so people are wanting to so at least they want to see at least they're trying to seek out the what you're doing in your work here. So it's very good to hear. Okay, so moving on to some other questions. It's great presentation, Catherine. Thank you. What age do you typically find the children are aware of what a map represents? Any toddler prodigies? And it's great to see people spreading the love of maps to future generations.
So with the beginners, the kindergarten, the preschool, the age 4 do not know the map at first until I introduce it, and then we draw their classroom map. So once we start now drawing the map is when they start relating with it. But when we get to, that is age 4 to 6, but age 7, 8, and 9, because of their classwork, they're the ones who tell me a map shows us where to go and a map shows you where you are. Those are the two. I don't know if it's in classwork, but those are the two responses they have. A map shows you where to go and a map shows you where you are. And when you ask them what map they know the map of Kenya or the map of East Africa. So we bring about all the continents.
Okay, no, thank you very much. That's been very useful to hear, and it's interesting to see that. It is interesting to see that start point of where the understanding of when they first encounter maps and what they understand as a map to begin with. So that's very useful. So yes, so thank you very much. Yes, I'll give people a final chance to ask any questions. But it has been a very informative talk, and I think it's got quite a nice bit of discussion there from people asking about what you've been doing, because it sounds like a good piece of work, and the fact that you've got that engagement has been really useful, and it's good, and it's great to see that someone promoting mapping, which is always that challenge, and it's getting people younger, getting people at the younger end of the scale to get them fully aware and to understand maps. And if they understand maps at a young age, they'll be able to read maps, and they'll be able to understand what a map is, be able to read it, and then hopefully one day decide they want to make maps. That would be at the latter stage, but always important to get them to understand. So okay, so I think I'll close the talk now. So I just want to say, Catherine, thank you very much for the talk. Thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. I'm sure a lot of people have gained quite a bit from hearing what you've said, and it's always good to see it's always a pleasure to see people actively promoting mapping and trying to just spread that knowledge. So I also want to thank our audience for joining us today. So thank you very much for joining us for today's talk. We hope to see you next time for our next Tea Time talk with Simon Ritchie, looking at industrial history hiding in plain sight. But for today, I'd like to say thank you and goodbye.